decentralized.
What's going on, Crypto Paradise fam? Nate back here once again with another TA lesson with our partner Tordess. We've been doing these for coming up on almost 6 months now. May will make 6 months. Bringing you each week TA lessons, almost every week. TA lessons to try and help you improve your trading skills so you can put them to work on the Tordess platform. If you're not familiar, Tordess is the leading prop trading firm in Web3. Prop trading, believe it or not, because it sounds too good to be true, but prop trading is where you can go and get qualified to get fully funded to trade with other people's money. And that's up to $100,000 in funding through the Tordess platform, where you keep 90% of the profits. So to a quick example that we've done in the past, if you're a trader trying to make your monthly $3,000 to pay your bills, etc., and you're trading with a $10,000 bankroll, that means on average every month you need to make 30%. Now, is that possible? Sure, but is that easy? Not at all. You're going to need to take some very high risk trades. However, if you're working with Tordess and you get funded for that $100,000 trading account, that's just 3% a month that you need to make that same $3,000. So very, very cool way to get into the trading game, to expand your capital that you can trade with. And it's a proven industry. It's a more than $7 billion a year, I believe, TradFi industry, very popular with stocks and with Forex. So just one of the very few aspects of the traditional markets left to come into DeFi. Tordess platform is live, very, very easy to use. It works with, or it's they're partnered with OKX to have more trading pairs than any other prop trading firm out there. Integrations with trading views. So really easy to use UX UI and a great place to get your start if you're looking to increase that bankroll with a funded account. And of course, with me, as always, we got the co-founder, Dut, the co-founder of Tordess. How you doing today, Dut?
I'm doing okay, but I'm not sure which day this episode is going to be published. But today, when we are recording this is Thursday, and Trump just announced a global tariff for all the countries that are exporting to the US. So the market is reacting very badly. We probably can discuss about it later, but hopefully we will see how it happens in the next few weeks. If you follow, it's actually quite rough day today in Vietnam. We got 46% tariff from the US, and if you're Vietnamese, you probably know that we got 90 points decrease in the stock markets in Vietnam today, the biggest drop ever in the history of Vietnamese stock markets. It's really terrible. The topic of the day in Vietnam is about Trump tariff.
Yeah, I've been seeing it all over Facebook today. Well, I mean, Twitter as well. It's kind of the talk everywhere when it comes to finances, but in Vietnam in particular, a lot of Vietnamese posting about what's happening with the tariffs, which we'll talk more about here in a minute. But how you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, man. Long week. Whoa.
A long week, and the charts aren't helping make it any easier.
The charts aren't helping. I didn't trade anything this week. I stayed out.
I suppose. Yeah. Yesterday we saw crazy volatility. I don't know if you can zoom in on the chart there on Bitcoin in yesterday. I mean, it was I think 8.5% top to bottom on those wicks. What we saw. Yeah. Let me go ahead and transition. There we go. Now we can see your chart there. But yeah, 8.5% yesterday, all the way up to almost $89,000, and then that was kind of with the speculation of 10% across the board tariffs. And then once Trump came out and was making the announcement that reading out each individual country is going to have their own tariffs, we saw the market react to that and dropped all the way back down to I think like 81ish, somewhere in that region, and kind of settled in the end of the day around where we're sitting now, around 83. So big day, a lot of volatility. That was expected. Rocher, the advice you've given many times in the past, a few weeks back, if you want to go back and check the episode, we talked about trading events, and you walked us through some great practices we can use, some great tools we can use for trading events. But probably the biggest advice you gave was avoid trading at all costs on days with these big events, because the volatility is crazy. You never know which way things are going to go, and so it's definitely not. And I think most traders feel that way as well.
Definitely. I think Bitcoin's running out of news, man, because it's holding up very well against, what we would consider catastrophic news, right? Which is true. It's the retail market for stocks, and the rest reacts like it's a black swan event, right? But BTC is holding. I mean, the alts got trashed.
Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is going back up. Alts are getting trashed. Bitcoin holding up well. I think the U.S. stock market lost $2 trillion yesterday. Big, massive jump. Kind of to be expected with the news. However, I think we've seen the fallout from yesterday's announcement announcement, at least from the U.S. side. Now we got to play the waiting game to see to how two things react. Number one, we have a Fed announcement. It's not an official FOMC, but Jerome Powell will be giving a statement tomorrow. I believe tomorrow night our time here in Vietnam. But he'll be giving a statement. How dovish or hawkish he is, that will play a lot, have a big effect on the markets, both traditional and Bitcoin. We know we're getting close to cutting rates. We don't know if that's going to be this month or next month, but tomorrow's speech by him will be highly watched by the markets. And then we have to start seeing how all these countries react. How does Vietnam react? How does China? How does the EU? How does Taiwan, Canada, Mexico, Japan? A lot of our big trading partners that are being most talked about in the news. How do they react now that the Trump has kind of laid down the gauntlet and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And as you mentioned before, these rates that he put out there. These are going to negotiation tactics. These are the starting point. Now he wants to see how's everybody going to respond, and I think we'll start to find out a lot more, over the weekend and beginning of next week of how the markets are going to be affected as these other countries respond due to Trump's tariffs yesterday.
But I believe that Bitcoin is holding the 83,000 support level, so I think it's still doing okay. What we see from stock market is that everything is dropping very hard. But at least we see that Bitcoin is still holding. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think we lost Roche there for a sec. We'll get him back here in a minute. But I think that one of the key levels that a lot of people are looking at is we saw the hash ribbons indicator fire off. We'll get you back, Roche. Can you share your screen again? We saw the hash ribbons indicator. Yes. I think it was a little over a week ago. And traditionally, that's a very powerful indicator. And it indicates the most recent macro low should not be violated again. Now that in the history of Bitcoin, that's come 20 times. 17 out of those 20, that metric has been respected. We haven't gone below the most recent macro low, which in this case would be around, I think it's 76,500 was the macro low when the hash ribbons indicator fired off. So for a lot of people, that's kind of a line in the sand. If we see any daily closures below that could be a very, a sign of potential reversal and going into a much longer consolidation and pullback period. But I think as long as we stay above that in the coming weeks here, there's a very good chance that we see things start to work itself out as rates and quantitative easing comes back in.
Yeah. We have some wild news coming out in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we have the initial jobs claims, and then we have the Fed chair speaks tomorrow.
And then next week we get, I believe there's a either consumer spending or consumer price index next week, and there's an FOMC meeting next week as well, which is obviously a very big event to pay attention to. So
let me check.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on trading over the next maybe week to 2 weeks here? It might be some pretty volatile markets. Maybe just kind of keep your head down, sit on your hands for a little bit.
Yeah, we got CPI, and then we got the 30-year bond auction, and we got the FOMC meeting minutes.
Yeah.
And we got the PPI all in a week.
Big week next week. Big week this week as well.
Yeah.
I think jobless numbers are out next week as well. Another big event to watch there. So, guys, if you want to know where to find all this information, go back. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Roche gave us a great demo on how to use investing.com's calendar, events calendar, how to sort that to bring you the most relevant events. Yeah, here we go. So if you haven't watched it yet, go back, watch that video, drop us a comment, a like, and a retweet if you find that information helpful. But don't let these events catch you off guard, guys. These events cause a ton of volatility, and if you're not prepared, you can get absolutely wrecked in your trades. So this is a very powerful tool to add to your arsenal for trading. Yeah,
so yesterday I was watching Ethereum when Trump made the announcement, and I believe that it increased from about 1,800 to about 1950, then it dropped really hard. So it's very unpredictable. So yeah, again, it was our advice that if you don't feel that you need to trade on the day, please avoid those days that this big announcement.
Make sure you got your stop losses set. Don't and be prepared not to do any trades for a bit here. So yeah, any other thoughts here on some near term market analysis before we move into the TA topic for the day?
I guess it's very unpredictable. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, sorry, Rory.
I would say stay out for a while.
Sit on your hands.
Definitely.
Safest thing for you right now.
Yeah.
Well, right on. Well, anybody that's watching
Definitely,
this
man.
point, I hope you enjoyed the market analysis. The markets are really wild right now, so stay safe out there. So today we're going to be getting into our TA analysis. If you found the stream interesting or the video interesting, give us a like, give us a retweet. Really helps out the algorithm if you leave us a comment. We really appreciate everybody that's watching here from the Tordess audience, from the Crypto Paradise audience, or anybody else that's tuning in for the first time. So today, again, we're TA with Tordess. We always have a topic each week of a new ticker, a new chart, a new pattern, something that you can use to help increase your skills with trading. And then again, go and put them to work on Tordess, get funded for $5, 10, 25, 50, $100,000 that you can trade with, and again, keep up to 90% of the profits. Today, we are talking about the Stochastic Oscillator, a very popular tool to trade with. I'm going to turn it over to you as always here. You are our head trader and commander on this. So the mic is yours, man.
Yes, so the SO, as they call it, okay, not significant other, it's very popular.
GTA.
I think, I think the reason it's so popular because it's really, really simple. So if you look at it from a trader's perspective, I'm going to zoom in a bit, yeah? So your green line is your K line and your orange line is your D line, okay? And K line is on 14 and the D is on 3. And if K crosses D to the upwards, the market will be bullish. And if it crosses to the downward, it is bearish.
Okay, so this is just
20 and under. So what we refer to 20 and under is this line here. If it goes under this line here, that would be oversold. If it goes over 80, it would be overbought. And it's normally pretty accurate if you look at the market. What I learned, this is the standard system it comes out with. What I learned back in the day, when I first used this, I don't use it anymore because there are other things that are very similar, but we have already covered them, like MACD, etc. But what I've learned from this is to put it on 15 and 75 because markets tend to retract more than they push up. So how you do that is you just click here, right? And then my upper trigger line would be 75, and this would be 15.
Okay.
And
so
then
quick
the line
review
would
here. Make
change.
sure,
And the reason why is
the green line you said is the K.
Yeah.
And the orange line is the D.
Correct.
Okay, so when the K crosses the D,
in the document,
when the green crosses
in the
crosses
document,
the orange, that to the downside, that's indicating momentum is shifting to the downside. When the green crosses the orange to the upside, then we're looking at upside trends. Now,
yes.
But you want to see those trends. You want to see those crosses happen outside your purple box, correct?
Not necessarily, because they're crossovers, right? So crossover always means that the market is changing.
Okay.
Okay. The crossover always means that the market is changing. The thing that you should watch out for is divergence, right? So let's say that the price is low, but it still continues to push up. That means we might be going into a bearish market. Or the price goes up and it continues to go down, means we might go into a bullish market. Okay. If you look at it yesterday, the market was extremely strong yesterday. If you look at this peak over here, it already was in 50 and then it came down, but it also barely touched. It might go a little bit lower today, like here. We might, because it haven't crossed yet, right? So if it doesn't cross today, we might see the market go down to 81, 80, 79 again today. Definitely. Because technically it normally either crosses or it doesn't on a daily time frame, right? So if it crosses, it's really good to look at it on an hour frame. There we go. So this gives you a good example. This again shows that we are technically fine, that we are good. So it already crossed, but it's already crossed once, twice, 3, 4. This is the 4th time it's breaking out. So we'll see.
So when we do hit those extreme levels, above the 80, or in this case, you got to set to 75, and below that 20, or where you have it set at 15. Those are periods we're looking at. Bitcoin is either highly oversold or highly undersold, and expecting some sort of momentum pivot. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. They're kind of a warning sign there. Is this a lagging indicator typically?
I wouldn't say so. I think it's not like the ATR we did last week. Okay, it's way more accurate. A lot of people use this for day trading. It's also not something that you can speculate with because it changes at all times. So a 50,000 market and an 87,000 market, it's gonna look very similar, but it will have a much different performance. a much different performance. Yeah.
Okay.
We can go back a bit. I can show you quickly.
What's a basic setup that you might look at for using the stochastic oscillator?
Well, because we're in a bull market, I believe always the trends, my friend. So I don't really go against the market because it takes 1 second, literally, and then you're out of market. Of course, now things are different, but the market isn't that. Yes, for investors, builders, starters, the market's bad. But if you bought BTC 2 years ago, you are so up at the moment. You're sitting on massive profits. We have to be very honest about that. Yeah, if you bought alts, you're screwed. You are. I mean, alts are down 50% to the previous high that they made, right? Some of them are 70% down. But if you bought BTC, you are massively up. Let's quickly do that. Let's have a look here. So here we go. So we are now in 2025. If you bought BTC let's go here. 2 years ago, right? April, here we go. If you bought BTC on the 3rd of April, which is the same day as today, you would have paid 28,000. So people who bought Bitcoin 2 years ago, they are not broke at all. They are sitting on a 3x, right? So that's my point. So I think the basic setup would be the easiest way to do it is, sorry, I'm just saying that the market, like Bitcoin, I wouldn't definitely not short Bitcoin at all.
So maybe here's a better way to ask this question. Typically when you're trading, you're not using a single indicator. You're using a combination of indicators. What's another indicator you might use to trade alongside with the stochastic oscillator?
So support and resistance is always key. I think support and resistance is the most important indicator of all time. And then I would also use the Fibonacci tool here. Be really good. That's about it. I tend to stick to 3 indicators, right? And I would rotate them. Depends what the market is doing. Is a consolidating market, is a bullish market, is a bearish market, I haven't even started with Elliott waves and all this stuff that people are using because I just, I haven't got there yet. So maybe one day. Yeah.
So in this case, let's say.
So that's what I would do. I would say head and shoulders and the Fib.
Okay. So looking at this, if you start to see a divergence to the upside, indicating a breakout, you then check also, are you sitting on support? Are you up against resistance? You look at the Fibonacci retracements, and then maybe look for a pattern like a head and shoulders emerging. And then the combination, if you have, multiple positive indicators that Bitcoin is getting ready to move, that's where you would enter your trade from.
Definitely.
Gotcha. Okay. Stellar.
Yes.
And can you pull up on the settings, just show people where they can find this? To add this in there?
Definitely. So let's just get rid of this. So all you do is you go here to indicators and then you just put in stochastic and it would be right there. And then I just want people to know that there are a lot of free indicators that go with this. To give you an example, like there's this one that people, it's things that people make, I don't know it, so I don't understand it. But a lot of these guys create their own indicators, and most of the time they're free, right? So, like I always say, figure stuff out. The normal one, the one that everyone uses is this one, the one that I just showed you. It's right here, and I can see the settings went back to normal, so I would go here to settings and I would change this to 75 and 15. There we go.
Very cool.
And that's the indicator. That's how you add it on.
And guys, remember, this is always meant to be kind of a basic tutorial to get you started on this. This isn't meant to be a end-all, be-all TA course. So, if you like the stochastic oscillator and you want to find out more about trading with it, there's lots of great trading videos and tutorials on YouTube. Let this be kind of a springboard to get you started and jumpstart your learning. Don't take this as the end-all, be-all and think you're ready to go trade with this today. You got to do some more research, before you're ready to use this. But hopefully, this is brought to light another potential tool for you to use when trading. I know we've covered quite a few here on the channel. So always make sure that you're using these in combination and that you're doing some more research before you just jump into any trades.
Yeah, I think we covered this a few weeks ago. There are a lot of different TA indicators, and probably each of you guys who are watching this needs to see what you guys are more familiar with, what you like the most, and backtest a lot. Don't forget the importance of backtest. Try to see the indicator, try to see how it works in the past, and see what you like the most and test it out. There's no perfect combinations. What may work for Roger might not work for you. So different traders might have different combinations, and you just have to learn it we just give it the basics for you to test it out, and you have to learn it by yourself and test it by yourself. And hopefully, after a while, you get used to it. And that's what Tordess is about. You can test it with Tordess. Go to Tordess.com. Sign up an account, open the competitions, a free competition account. Or if you are more advanced, you can try a challenge account and test all these indicators with Tordess. And if you win, you can manage up to $100,000 funding. For example, the guy who won the March competition from Tordess, he has been in the top 3 for the past few months. It takes him more than 3 months to be the top 1. So don't give up.
Absolutely, guys. Learning a skill like trading, it's something that's a lifelong journey. You know, most people that are successful traders have been doing it for years and years and years. So, great advice there. Get in there, use a demo account. You know, don't have to jump in with your own money. And if you are jumping with your own money, start small, right? Don't. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's like anything else. You got to work at it for a long time and build a bankroll slowly. But that's where Tordess can come in to help you. Do the demo account. Do the free challenges. You can win a free allocation. And then when you do feel qualified, go ahead and try one of the challenges to earn yourself a bankroll. They've got multiple levels from 5K all the way up to 100K that you can qualify for. So great way to get started. If you haven't checked out the Tordess platform yet, make sure to do that. We'll leave a link for you to check out the Crypto Paradise link in the description as well. Awesome, guys. Well, Rashay, appreciate it, man. Another great tutorial here today, introducing some new great tools to add to our arsenal. I think if we go back over the last 6 months, they have a full playbook they can rifle through and start working on. So I guess to wrap up here before we go, I know as we talked about covering the market insights at the beginning here, it's going to be it was a volatile last couple of days, going to continue to be a volatile next week or two. So be careful out there, guys.
Protect your funds.
Yeah,
That's right.
true.
That's right. It can take you.
That's it.
You can build them up for months, and if you're not careful, it only takes a couple of days, a couple bad trades to set you back months. So be cautious here the next couple of weeks. Be patient and hodl, and we'll get through this sooner or later. Right on.
Yeah,
Thanks for
that's
watching,
it.
guys. Thanks for watching, guys. As
Cheers,
always, if
guys.
you're not subscribed to the Crypto Paradise socials, make sure to turn the notifications on there. Same thing with Tordess. They just wrapped up an airdrop with us for 25K. Announcements will be coming out on that soon. They'll be announcing IDOs coming up soon, TGE coming up soon. So make sure you are in the Tordess Telegram group, that you are following them on X to get all those latest updates. You don't want to have to wait a week for us to do a video and for it to pop out, and you're gonna be behind the curve on that. So make sure you're following their socials. Get the latest and greatest coming out of Tordess. Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us as always.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, appreciate your time, and we'll see you guys on the beach later.